Underground letter, the only person you must defeat. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Futurist Mindset Show. My name is Tessa. I'm here to introduce you to your host, Reagan Rodriguez. Reagan is a futurist who teaches stratosphere wealthy legacy families how to become impact investors. Hi, Reagan. How are you?
Hello, Tessa. I am doing awesome. I'm doing better than I deserve. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well, and I'm excited to learn about this topic, the underground letter. It's very intriguing.
Yeah. Well, we'll get started. One of the things I was thinking about was that similar to last week, Tessa, I was not sure what we would title today's talk, but what I did know is that I wanted this to be kind of like a letter to a future member of the Underground
Oh,
Club. And if so, I would begin that letter by asking you something. And that something is, what if the person that is holding you back is that old version of you? What if all of this time you've been chasing somebody else's metrics? Maybe you've been comparing yourself to someone that's further down the road, someone that maybe has different cards, a different path, and a different past. In the Fifth Avenue Underground Club, we teach something that's radically different, as you know, Tessa. We don't measure ourselves against others. And I teach you to measure yourself on your former self. That's the only competition that matters, because here's the reality. The people that win at this game, this elite game of business acquisition, legacy building, and capital strategy, are those that understand this core rule that the real power move is to outmove the person you were yesterday. See, if you're trying to rise, you're going to then feel behind. You're going to look around and you're going to see people that are already ahead in money, influence, or opportunity. And hey, that's fine. Let them be proof that it's possible. And your battle should then be internal. Okay, because you know the traps that you've survived, the debt, the betrayal, the false starts, the bitterness that then creeps in late at night when you wonder if your moment already passed. And here's the secret. That version of you, that one that is tired, resentful, that is self-doubting, that version doesn't belong in the room that we're building. So then what does, you might ask? The one that's ready to kill off that your former self and rise. That's what we're going to help you do inside the Fifth Avenue Underground Club. The undercode is to then aim upward, die daily, transcend always. In this club, we don't play small, but we do start with what's real. It's not going to be a fantasy vision board, okay? Look at what's the measurable move that's going to make you 1% more lethal than yesterday. That's how I want you to move. Move with humility, with precision, and with relentless progress. If you want meaning in your life, you want a reason to get out of bed when the money is tight and the pressure's thick, then your next move is to then kind of step into a new identity, not a trend, not a title, a transcendence. The only way to break out of the mess, the debt, the maybe spiritual malice, is to accept that call to then take what I call radical responsibility. No blame, no guilt, responsibility. Because once you own it all, you can leverage it all. And we will show you how. What I've noticed is that life is not fair. And that's why you're going to win. That's why we win. let's not sugarcoat this. Life is tragic. It's brutal. It's corrupt. But we don't whine about it at the club. We weaponize it. You've been lied to by education, by religion, by gurus that promise 7 figures with a funnel and a dream. That's why you need something deeper. You need a system that is based on principles, a private society that's going to hand you that playbook, and the key is to take back control. If you don't, what I've noticed in my life, then bitterness can set in. And the longer you wait, the harder the rot becomes to reverse. So we offset that with mission, with responsibility, with aligned capital. You want out? Then pick up that burden. Inside the Fifth Avenue Underground Club, we don't hand you magic. We're going to hand you the map. And the map says this: you pick up the heaviest burden you can handle, not for show, not for validation, but because that's where the meaning is. First, before you get your personal empire in order, then I want you to extend it to your business. Then your family will benefit, and then your legacy. Every step will then compound. Every day, I've noticed, builds momentum. If you just take that first small step today, that then unlocks the capacity for a bigger move tomorrow. By the way, that's not self-help, Tessa, that's strategy, right? And it starts with making a decision, and it ends with your bank account. I've had people tell me, Reagan, all I did was what you told me to do, which was make a decision. You said it every morning. I made the decision, and then everything shifted. And I say, no, it wasn't the decision. It was the aim. Because when you aim upwards, when you stop pretending that you're okay being stuck, then everything begins to realign. And when you stop being above the mess, you lower yourself to master the details of your own life and get your own world in order. And what I've noticed is that's when God begins to open doors. You don't need more tips. You need transcendence. You are not okay as you are. And that should be liberating. One of the reasons people are starving for this message, or should I say our message, is because they've been told a lie. They've been told that they're okay the way they are. You're not. They're not. But you could be so much more. You could be dangerously competent. You could be spiritually aligned. You could be the owner of not just your business, but your time, your bloodline, and your capital. That is what the Fifth Avenue Underground Club exists for. We are not for everyone. We are exactly for those that know they're done playing small. Here's the rule. I want you to pick a discipline. I want you to pick a direction. Start moving. You may not know what to do, and that's totally okay. Most people don't. But if you're willing to move, then we'll hand you the system. And as you move, you'll gain wisdom. And as you gain wisdom, you will then develop sharper plans. And as you refine those plans, you will evolve into a version of yourself that most people never meet. All you really have to do is stop pretending that you will get there alone. So here's the move. Stop comparing yourself to the world out there. Compare yourself to yesterday, and then walk into the room where yesterday's version of you is no longer welcome. That room is at the Fifth Avenue Underground Club. And we're waiting for you inside.
Wonderful. So the power move that you can do is reach out to Regan so you can find out more about the Underground Club, because it is an invitation only club, but you can visit the website. It's 5thaavc.com and submit a contact form request to Regan. Let him know that you're interested so that you can get invited. But that is truly the power move, the move that you're going to take if you want to join this group and change. I love how you talked about the KPIs for judging our future self is by looking at our past self. So you can't do that if you don't start making those moves and changing, moving towards the new you so you can have better results. So
Yeah.
I love
And
it.
yeah, well, I know I deal with people sometimes that are competitive, and I know I can be competitive, or should I say, I used to with kind of people, where you try and one up. And
Yes.
then it hit me one day. I was kind of talking to myself and I said, Regan, you really like competition? Well, then why don't you compete with you, that same version of you, and then what God sees? Because what he sees, that's a lot bigger. So
Yes.
that's the version I should maybe compete with, is the version of me now and the version that God sees of me in the future.
Oh, I love that. Even better. That's wonderful. Well, now, if, like I said, if you want to submit the form, reach out to Regan. And then if you do hit the bell to get notifications, the system will notify you every time we go live. So you can find out more great advice and information about how to go about becoming that new version of you. So thank you so much, Regan. Appreciate you. We'll see you all next week. Thank you.